What if the moment everyone thought was a simple appearance together was actually the spark that reignited one of the most talked about fan narratives in recent memory? The scene opens not with noise, but with anticipation. If you are still watching, subscribe. Let's get the story started as the world of your favorite celebrity unfolds.
Stay tuned.
A hall filled with quiet elegance. Industry figures seated beneath soft lights. Cameras waiting like watchful eyes. And then, a ripple of attention moves across the room. Lee Min-ho is present. Composed, poised, carrying the calm confidence of a man long accustomed to global attention. Not far away, Song Hye Kyo appears within the same space, equally serene, equally magnetic. 2 stars. 1 venue. Countless interpretations. Then comes the moment that fuels the headline. Lee Min-ho speaks. A few words. A reflection. A mention of crossing paths again. Of shared professional respect. Of time passing quickly in an industry where everyone eventually meets again. His tone is measured, thoughtful, warm but not revealing. Yet for fans who have followed every whisper of their rumored connection, even a gentle acknowledgement feels monumental. And suddenly, the narrative writes itself. The documentary voice enters, low and cinematic. In the world of global stardom, words are rarely just words. A sentence can become a signal. A polite comment can become a confession in the eyes of an eager audience. When Lee Min-ho speaks about a reunion in any context, listeners lean closer, searching for subtext between syllables. Was he simply being courteous? Was he reflecting on the smallness of the entertainment world? Or was there something more layered beneath his calm delivery? The camera cuts to the audience reaction online. Within minutes, fan communities ignite. Clips circulate. Translations multiply. Interpretations bloom like fireworks. Some fans celebrate, convinced this is the closest thing to confirmation they have ever received. Others remain cautious, reminding everyone that professionalism often looks warmer than it is. But emotion rarely waits for certainty. For Minkyo supporters, seeing them in the same environment feels symbolic. Not proof of romance, but proof of harmony. And harmony is enough to inspire hope. Edits appear overnight. Soft music layered over old interviews. Moments from years ago stitched beside present-day footage, forming a storyline that feels continuous even if reality is fragmented. Song Hye Kyo's presence by his side, even if only within the same event space or social circle, becomes its own statement in the public imagination. She does not need to speak. Her quiet composure becomes part of the narrative. A glance in the same direction. A shared laugh with mutual colleagues. Ordinary moments elevated into meaningful scenes. The voiceover deepens. But celebrity life is a stage where coincidence often wears the costume of destiny. Top actors attend the same premieres, endorsements, and ceremonies. Their worlds overlap by profession. Familiarity grows naturally in such circles. Respect is common. Camaraderie is normal. Yet fans do not watch as analysts. They watch as storytellers at heart. And storytelling seeks arcs. Beginnings. Tension. Reunion. Resolution. Lee Min-ho, known for guarding his private life, has mastered the art of speaking without revealing. His reflections often sound personal while remaining universal. When he talks about meeting people again after time has passed, he may be speaking about the industry as a whole. But listeners may hear a single name echoing louder than the rest. Song Hye Kyo, equally private, has built a career on depth and restraint. Her silence often carries more weight than words. In a culture where oversharing is common, her mystery becomes part of her power. When she stands beside anyone publicly, the moment feels curated even when it is not. The camera slowly pans across their individual journeys. Years of acclaimed performances, global recognition, personal growth shaped away from the spotlight. These are 2 people whose lives are far richer and more complex than any single narrative attached to them. And yet, when their names appear together, the world pauses. Because some pairings capture imagination beyond logic. They represent a blend of elegance, maturity, and emotional depth that fans admire. The idea of them side by side feels like a drama script written by fate itself. Still, reality remains quieter than headlines. There are no grand declarations, no confirmed revelations, only respectful words, shared spaces, and the natural interactions of two seasoned professionals navigating the same industry. But the fan reaction tells its own story.
Joy,
Nostalgia,
excitement,
endless discussion. For many, this is not about demanding a real relationship. It is about enjoying the possibility, the cinematic feeling of two admired figures coexisting in the same frame again. The documentary tone softens toward its final act. Perhaps Lee Min-ho's words were never meant to ignite rumors. Perhaps Song Hye Kyo's presence was simply part of her professional world. Perhaps the reunion is smaller and simpler than the internet imagines. Yet the emotional response from fans is genuine. It speaks to how deeply stories can live in the hearts of audiences. How certain names, when spoken together, carry echoes of unfinished scripts. The final reflection lingers. Maybe the true reunion is not between two stars. Maybe it is between fans and a hope they once tucked away. A reminder of why they started believing in the pairing to begin with. The screen fades slowly. Two accomplished actors continue their journeys, crossing paths when schedules align, offering respect where it is due, living lives far beyond the edits and headlines. And somewhere in the glow of fan communities, the story continues to breathe. Not because it is confirmed, not because it is denied, but because it feels cinematic enough to believe in, if only for a moment. And sometimes, in the world of stardom, a moment is all it takes to create a legend. And as the echoes of that moment continue to travel across screens and conversations, a quieter question begins to surface beneath the excitement. What happens after the spotlight moves on? The documentary lens widens. Fame is a landscape where moments are magnified and meanings are multiplied. A brief interaction can live for months in public memory. A simple sentence can be replayed until it sounds like a declaration. For Lee Min-ho and Song Hye Kyo, two figures who have spent years mastering grace under scrutiny, this is not new territory. It is the atmosphere they have learned to breathe in. Yet each new wave of attention feels personal to fans who follow closely. Because when Lee Min-ho speaks thoughtfully about meeting familiar faces again, and when Song Hye Kyo is seen within the same orbit, it touches a narrative that has been quietly preserved by supporters for years. The voiceover becomes reflective. There is a unique power in pairings the public never fully owned but never fully lost. They exist in a space between reality and imagination. Not official, not impossible. Just open enough for interpretation. This is where the Minkyo story has always lived. Not in confirmations, not in denials, but in the pauses between facts. Fans analyze tone, timing, and body language the way film critics analyze scenes. A smile becomes a clue. A shared environment becomes a chapter. Silence becomes suspense. In a way, the audience becomes the editor of a story still being written in fragments. But real life rarely follows a scripted arc. Both stars operate in a world of contracts, schedules, brand images, and global expectations. Their public appearances are often shaped by professional commitments. The warmth they show colleagues is part of a respectful industry culture. Familiarity grows naturally among those who share the same demanding spotlight. Still, when two beloved figures appear near each other again, it can feel like destiny revisiting an old script. The camera drifts through time. Think of how many eras they have lived through in the public eye. The early breakout roles, the international fame, the personal chapters that shaped them privately, the reinventions that kept them relevant. Their stories are vast on their own. Intersecting them is tempting because it feels poetic. But poetry and reality are not the same language. The narration slows, more intimate now. Perhaps what resonates most is not the idea of romance, but the idea of connection. Two individuals who represent maturity, resilience, and quiet strength. Seeing them in the same space feels symbolic of harmony, of mutual respect, of shared understanding that only long-time stars might carry. Fans, at their core, respond to emotion. And emotion does not always need confirmation to feel real. It feeds on possibility, on nostalgia, on the joy of imagining good outcomes for people they admire. Yet the truest respect may lie in allowing their real lives to remain their own. The spotlight does not capture private conversations. It does not reveal personal priorities. It does not show the full picture behind calm smiles and composed appearances. And perhaps it should not. As the online buzz slowly softens, something gentler remains. Appreciation for their individual journeys. Admiration for their professionalism. Gratitude for the moments they share with the public through their work. The final act unfolds like a quiet closing scene. The venue empties. The cameras turn away. New headlines begin forming about other stories, other stars. The world keeps moving, as it always does. But for those who followed this moment closely, a small spark of wonder lingers. Not demanding answers. Not insisting on conclusions. Just holding on to a feeling. The closing narration settles into a calm truth. Some stories are powerful not because they are confirmed, but because they invite people to imagine.
To hope.
To remember why they cared in the first place. Lee Min-ho continues forward. Song Hye Kyo continues forward. Two paths, occasionally crossing in the same wide sky of the same industry. And the biggest revelation may be this. A reunion does not always mean two lives joining. Sometimes it simply means two names sharing the same frame again, reminding the world of a story it once loved to tell. The screen fades gently to black, and the narrative, like all enduring fan stories, remains open-ended.